If you decide to take the plunge and get a Tesla or any EV, you'll need to charge it. If you're coming from a gas car, the idea of finding charging might seem intimidating. The number one question I get about owning a Tesla is how do you charge it and how long does it take to charge? Well, I guess that's two questions. But in this video, I'm going to tackle these questions and cover 3 home charging options for your Tesla so I can put to rest any concerns that you might have about where to charge. So plug in and let's get started. So let's start with what comes with your Tesla when you purchase one. Well, in 2025, the answer to that question is easy. It's nothing. Tesla does not provide you a charging cable in any form to plug in your car. The connection point on your Tesla is called a NAS connector, and it won't fit anything that you find in your house, and nothing will work with it. That leaves you with 2 options. First, you could do all of your charging at superchargers. The other option you might have would be to buy what you need in order to allow you to charge your car at home. I would strongly recommend that you invest in a home charging option. Superchargers are significantly more expensive to use and they can be inconvenient to get to, and they aren't the best for your battery as a sole way of charging. Finally, when you're charging at a supercharger, you simply have to wait for the charge to get done. There isn't much else to do. The best option is to charge from home where the electricity tends to be much less expensive and it's super convenient. You can let your car charge in your garage or your driveway while you're inside doing other things. To charge at home, you're going to have 2 options from Tesla. There are also third-party options. To go with a Tesla option, you're going to either need to get the mobile connector or a wall connector. You can buy both from Tesla's shop. The mobile connector will cost you around $250 at the time of this video, and it comes with both a 110 volt and a 240 volt adapter. More on this in a bit. You can also buy their wall connector for $450. This is a dedicated wall charger that will be installed in your garage or your driveway to give you a dedicated hookup for your car. The last way is to go with a third-party option. There are tons out there and you're going to need to shop around. Please keep in mind that not all manufacturers are equal and it can be a challenge to find a good one. For me, when it comes to charging, I'm going to stick with Tesla branded products. Okay, now that we've covered the what, let's talk about the how, starting with the mobile connector. This right here is my mobile connector when you buy it, and this is what you get. You get this nice bag here, and inside the bag is where all the magic happens. Inside the bag, you're going to get a cord, and you're going to get some adapters. The cord looks like this, and one end plugs into your Tesla. It's got a 20-foot cord, I believe, and the other end looks like this, has nothing plugged into it. And at the time of this video, when you purchase this, you get 2 options. You get these 2 adapters. First one here plugs into just a standard US outlet, and in order to use it, you plug it into the mobile connector and you're good to go. The other option that it comes with is something called a 1450 adapter, which is usually reserved for like a dryer outlet, or you may have one in your garage. It's 240 volt. Again, we'll get to this in a minute. Now, how you connect it to your house will completely depend on what you have available to you. And in the US, every house will have lots of 110 volt outlets. You can actually charge your car from a simple 110 volt connection. Plug the mobile connector into the wall and wait for the green light to turn on. From there, just plug in your car. Inside the car, you'll see the power ramp up to 12 amps or about 1 kilowatt of power. And in my Tesla Model Y, it is reporting that I get about 4 miles of charge for every hour that it's plugged in, which is quite slow. So if you come home from work and can plug in and get a good solid 10 hours, you can safely get about 40 miles of range added to your car for the next day. Now, if you have a very short commute or you don't drive every day, this can be a perfectly good option for you. Now, if you want to step things up a bit, you can go with a 240 volt option. What comes with the mobile connector is something called a 1450 adapter plug. In relatively modern houses, you may find this connection in your garage. It's also common to see this connection for a dryer outlet. You may also find that you need something completely different to work in your house. Tesla offers many other connectors to choose from. Now, obviously, I'm in the US, so options available to me are only US options. If you find that you need to purchase a different adapter, it will run you between $35 and $45 per adapter. They all work the same. Just plug in the adapter into the mobile connector and go. Also, the charging performance will likely be different from what I show you here, so keep that in mind because different outlets have different power requirements. Now, with the 1450 adapter installed, the process is the same. Plug it into the wall, wait for the light to turn green, and then plug in your car. With the 1450, you can see that the charge ramps up to 32 amps, or about 8 kilowatts. Now, it's worth noting that the mobile connector will never go above 32 amps, regardless of what adapter or power source you use. The mobile connector simply isn't rated for more than 32 amps, and that's all you're going to get out of it. Compared to a 110 volt outlet, stepping up to a 1450 is a big jump. And for that same 10-hour charge, you can nearly charge from 0 to 100% and leave the next day fully charged. Now it's a good time to say that you don't generally charge your car to 100% and you don't generally pull into your garage with 0%. For most people, you are charging in the 20 to 80% range to keep the battery healthy. You will need to look at your specific car. Tesla will give you their recommended maximum daily charge rate right on the screen. For my car, they recommend 80%. For some Teslas with LFP batteries, 100% is the recommended level. So if you have that type of car, charge it up to 100%. On the low end, I like to keep it above 20% for daily use. Sentry mode stops working below 20%, and in cold temps, I like to have options if I need it. Next, let's switch over to the third home charging option, the Tesla wall connector. The Tesla wall connector is a dedicated charging station that is installed in your garage or in your driveway. It's weatherproof, so installing it outside is just fine. It will require you to purchase the connector, and you will need to also pay someone to have it professionally installed. Using the wall connector is super easy. Simply plug in and go. That's it. The performance of the wall connector will depend on what service you have wired to it. For me, I have it wired to a maximum 60 amp service, and when charging, the car will deliver 48 amps or about 11 kilowatts of power. For my car, this equals about 45 miles of added range per hour of charge. So you can charge your entire battery 0 to 100% well within that 10 hours. So given the extra expense, why not just use the mobile connector? Well, for me, there are two main reasons. First is convenience. I like the idea of having a plug ready to go, powered up when I want it for the two Teslas that I have. I also like that I can keep my mobile connector in a bag inside the car at all times, and I don't need to worry about leaving it at home. The second reason is rebates. For me, when I installed this wall connector, my power company, my local power company, had a $500 rebate on installing a charging station in your home. This more than paid for the wall connector itself. I also paid $500 to have it installed because my setup was relatively straightforward. Now, your home setup could be very different than mine, and the cost could also be very different too. So you'll need to factor this into your particular situation to make sure this is the right decision for you. I also took advantage of the federal home charging tax credit that paid 30% of the total cost. That's the wall connector and the installation. So this took off another $300. So all in total, for my wall connector, it cost me only $200. So how do things shake out? Well, the 110 volt outlet is going to give you about 4 miles of range per hour of charge. To charge my battery from 20% to 80% is going to take you a full 48 hours. Yes, 2 full days. Now bump that up to the 1450 connector, things improve a great deal, and that reduces your charge time down to 6.5 hours to go from 20 to 80%. Finally, the wall connector from 20 to 80 will get you there in a little over 4 hours. So hopefully this information helps put to rest any fears you might have with charging a Tesla. If this was a concern keeping you from buying a Tesla, I hope this video helped. Now, if you decide to buy one, make sure you use a referral link to save up to $2,000 on your order. You can use any referral link you want, but if you want to use iowateslaguy.com, that would be great. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're down there, I'd appreciate you tapping that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscriptions are always welcome. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.